Your Saturday morning treats, and what we next is we want to give you the activities of our brilliant governor Ademola Adeleke of Osun State. We are going to enjoy it today because he did a lot of wonders that made people. Some of the goods that have been something of the past, then he is now actualizing it. Sit back and enjoy.
Addressing members of the Market Women and Traders Association in Osun State, who converged on the State Secretariat to witness the inauguration of new Yaloja General and our executive, Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke assured residents of Osun State that he remains committed to good governance with readiness for positive collaboration that will move the state forward. Following the request of market women to elect new leader that will take over from the former executive that have piloted the affairs of the association for the past 12 years, Senator Adeleke said it became imperative for the state government to approve the appointment of the new Yaloja General, Mrs. Mary Oyebode, as elected by association, stressing that the election and inauguration were in accordance with the rule of law and due process. Senator Adeleke asked them to see their appointment as clarion call for more effective service delivery in all the markets across the state. The governor asked the new Yaloja General to continue to maintain peace and support government policies in relation to peace, progress and security of all residents in the state, and as well provide effective leadership for members of the association.
I want to charge the incoming president, Yaloja General, and other executives being appointed today to see the appointment as a clear call for more effective service delivery both in their county and across the state. We are expected to continue maintain peace and committed to support of all government policies in relation to sustainable development, peace and security of our women and traders in all our markets in the state.
Also speaking, Yeyelua Modupeola Adeleke Sani asked the newly elected Yaloja General to carry all market women along in her leadership while urging her to always support the state government in the quest to promote trade and economy in the state. Yeyelua Modupeola Adeleke Sani also called on market women to rally around the new leadership for the growth of their association. Earlier in her address of welcome, Coordinating Director, Ministry of Commerce, Industry, Cooperatives and Empowerment, Mrs. Kennedy Odedino, admonished the new executive to maintain a synergy with other stakeholders to ensure robust market economy, just as she enjoined marketers in the state to support the new leadership of Osun State Market Women and Traders Association. Mrs. Odedino promised that the state government will continue to provide a business-friendly environment for all-round development in the state. In her response, the new Yaloja General, Mrs. Mary Oyebode, was full of appreciation for Governor Adeleke, saying his strategic intervention in the economic sector of Osun State since his assumption of office in November last year has yielded positive results. She therefore promised that the Market Women and Traders Association, under her leadership, will leave no stone unturned in supporting the developmental agenda of the state government.
Flanked with his deputy Prince Kola Adewusi, the chief of staff to the governor Alhaji Kasim Akinleye, and the secretary to the state government Honorable Teslim Igbalaye, Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke was welcomed by a number of civil servants who came to identify with their friends and bosses who got elevated to the position of permanent secretary. Addressing the gathering, Senator Ademola Adeleke described the position of coordinating directors in the civil service as an aberration which his administration has come to correct. Senator Adeleke, who noted that there is no favoritism in the appointment of new permanent secretaries, maintained that the issue of seniority, geographical spread, competence, character, and freedom from disciplinary actions are part of the necessary factors considered in their choice. noting that the permanent secretaries are his representatives in their various ministries, departments and agencies. The governor implored them to be loyal to the present administration and be committed to the implementation of its 5-point action plans. The governor also said that his commitment to repositioning the State Broadcasting Corporation led to the uplift of the position of its Director General to that of a permanent secretary, thereby assuring those who could not make the list of the permanent secretary now to keep their hope alive, as their chances of reaching the pinnacle of their careers are high under his administration.
In your parents' 10 years, you are representative of the governor and invariably of the people. Therefore, you must stand tall and be example. You must be loyal to the administration and must be wholly committed to the implementation of the 5-point agenda plan of our government.
In his speech, the head of service, Mr. Leye Aina, appreciated the governor for always showing concern to issues relating to civil servants. He described the action taken by the governor as the end of an era and the beginning of another in the state civil service. Mr. Aina therefore called on the newly appointed permanent secretaries to justify the appointment by being diligent in their various assignments.
Let me charge those who saw today that you will be focused, loyal, are committed to this administration. For the focused, loyal, and committed to this administration. And I look forward to seeing you, to what we do in our forum. God helping us.
Some of the permanent secretaries, including Mr. Rashid Folarami, Abimbola Babatude, and Muritala Jimo, appreciated Governor Ademola Adeleke for expressing his belief in their ability to take active part in developing the state.
I feel highly fulfilled. It's something we've been looking forward to, and we thank God Almighty for making it possible during the reign of Senator Ademola Adeleke. We thank you for that.
Yes, I'm very happy, highly elated. I'm so glad that I've reached the peak of my career. It has been a long journey, but we thank God for his message today. And we want to thank the governor, His Excellency, Governor Ademola Jackson Nuruddin Adeleke, our amiable governor, the governor that has been walking the talk since he came into power.
Real privilege, right? Because it's not a right to get to the peak of one's career. And as you can see it, everybody here is joyous, especially most of us who are appointed as permanent secretaries. And to that, we are very, very grateful to Almighty God. We are very, very grateful to the government of Osun State under the able leadership of Senator Ademola Jackson Nuruddin Adeleke.
The program climaxed with the swearing to the oath of office and allegiance.
Addressing the gathering of legal luminaries drawn from the bar and the bench, as well as students of law of Osun State University, Governor Ademola Adeleke appreciated the guest lecturer, Justice Professor Mojid Owade, for doing justice to the topic, saying that the judiciary remains the last hope of the common man. Chairman of the occasion, Honorable Justice Kunle Adeigbe, in his opening remark, described the lecturer, Justice Professor Mojid Owade, as the first professor of law to go to the bench. Thanked Uni Osun for providing such a rare privilege to the next generation of lawyers, saying it will go a long way in widening the horizon of both students of law and all legal practitioners. Also speaking at the third Distinguished Personality Lecture, the Vice Chancellor Uni Osun, Professor Clement Adebaoye, while welcoming the governor, stated that the governor within 1 week in office approved the completion of a 2-story 57 office complex at the health faculty, which has been abandoned since 2011, saying that the building that has been completed is the first project donated to the university by the state government since 2011. He noted that the building is ready for commissioning, which will be performed by the governor next week. He appealed to Ifetedo, the host community, to be more accommodating as the university looks forward to increasing student population in the next academic session. In his lecture, the retired Justice of the Court of Appeal, Professor Mojid Owade, spoke on the finality of the Supreme Court of Nigeria withdraws its powers from the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Goodwill messages were delivered by the Olubosi of Ifetedo, representative of the Chief Judge of Osun State, among others.
Welcome to the OSBC Broadcast Village, Ileawiye, Okebale, Oshogbo, by the teaming staff of the corporation led by its permanent secretary, Alhaji Rasheed Folaranmi. Governor Ademola Adeleke could not hide his joy as he acknowledged cheers of Imole that greeted him. The governor was conducted round the transmitters hall, generating set and TV studios in company with the special advisor on OSBC, Dr. Femi Adefila, and directors of the state-owned media outfit. Addressing workers of the establishment at the Open Forum Arena, Senator Ademola Adeleke assured that the welfare of the state workers will continue to be accorded a priority. He said that the days of joy of the 66 freelance staff of OSBC are near. The governor charged the management of OSBC to embrace private sector initiatives, increase internally generated revenue, and block all loopholes in its marketing and financing system. The governor also expressed his sadness on the station's equipment.
Everything will be okay. Everything will be fine. Because the government has to have the fear. Government that have the fear of God. I want to make sure that everybody is happy. Everybody is sad. What they get, because I'm not happy that the freelance will be here for 120-something years and everything is this time. But what I can assure you, I've been cracking my brain and see how we're going to work it out. But not too long, it will happen.
The special advisor on OSBC, Dr. Femi Adefila, commended the governor for the upgrade of the office of Director General of OSBC to a permanent secretary and the appointment of Mrs. Abimbola Abatunde, who was formerly the Director of News and Current Affairs Radio, to a permanent secretary. Dr. Adefila recalled that the Adeleke dynasty has history with the success of OSBC, as exemplified by late Governor Isiaka Adeleke, who established Osun State Television in 1992 and put the station on the sound foundation. He expressed optimism that Governor Adeleke will contribute meaningfully to making OSBC a signature of all eye again.
Governor is not an armchair governor. He's a governor that gets to the feet so that he has the first-hand information. That the governor is here deserves our appreciation.
Earlier, the governor had met the management of OSBC. The permanent secretary of OSBC, Alhaji Folaranmi, in his brief remarks, commended Governor Adeleke for the hand of friendship and empathy demonstrated towards OSBC. He informed the governor that OSBC was nominated among the best 8 stations, including private stations in the country, by the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria.
Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, a ranking member of the House of Representatives from Zaria Federal Constituency of Kaduna State, led other members and members-elect from all the political parties including APC, PDP and Labour Party to seek the support and blessing of Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke. The lawmaker, who was supported by members of the Green Chamber from Osun State, said the leadership of his party, the APC, has chosen him as the consensus candidate for the position. He therefore appealed to Governor Adeleke to use his position as the governor and the former lawmaker to support his ambition, promising that if he emerged, the House of Representatives under his leadership will reciprocate the gesture. Responding, Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke assured the visiting APC lawmaker that the PDP caucus will support him and urged Honorable Tajuddin Abbas to also respect and support the PDP zoning formula as regards the position of the minority in the House. He equally enjoined him to support Osun State government through legislation, grants and aids, among others, especially when the state will be needing the legislature's support on the airport projects.
Yes, you are welcome back. If you just joined us, it is still the Saturday morning treat, and we just watched the governor's stories there, stories from the governor's week. Yes, we are now onto the first guest platform. We did inform you earlier that on our first guest platform, we will be discussing a very important issue, the 1 week President Bola Tinubu. It's almost 1 week in office. We want to look at his activities in the past few days, and top on the list is the removal of fuel subsidy. We have a guest in the house. Jelly, who is our guest?
Our guest is an activist and a comrade, Comrade Wale Adebisi, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
You're welcome, sir.
Good morning. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, during the inaugural speech of President Bola Tinubu, he said subsidy is gone. And it won't be the first time he'll be saying it. He's made that known during his campaign. Now, let's look at subsidy with the title. What exactly does it entail? Because it's been on and on and on for years. What exactly is fuel subsidy?
See, the issue of subsidy has its own historical antecedent.
Okay.
It started in 1973 by the government of General Gowon, and was a military head of state that time. And what happened? The price of the fuel, of the oil, petroleum products collapsed at the world market, and collapsed to the extent that the government felt, well, this thing is going to have its tolling effect on the workers. What could they do? Was to subsidize the price of petroleum products. So it started in 1973.
Okay.
So by 1976, when Muritala was assassinated, Obasanjo became the military head of state. The attempt was made to remove the subsidy. Not only subsidy that was oil subsidy that was removed. The food subsidy for university students that time was also removed, and that is what ignited the Ali Must Go crisis.
Okay.
So it has always been, when anything subsidy is removed, well, anything subsidy has to do with the popular people. That's the workers, the peasants, then the students. Those are the people that should enjoy the subsidy. So they subsidize for the ordinary Nigerians. But when it is removed, they were exposed to poverty. And what followed next, it will ignite reactions, negative reactions. So Obasanjo now introduced austerity measure, and then austerity measure is operation tight your belt. If you remember, then they now substitute it. It was substituted with Operation Feed the Nation.
Okay.
That people should go to farm schools were encouraged to operate garden in the schools. People were encouraged to operate garden at the backyard of their homes. But it didn't go a longer way to solve the problem. So it was on until Shagari. And when Shagari came, they became so flamboyant, and then they created a chesspool of corruption. Money was spent anyhow, and we all knew that it was a very corrupt regime. And then Buhari took over. General Buhari took over and Diallo. And then it was not like that. When Buhari government ended, Babangida came, and then the price of oil at a particular time during his regime was so high. That's during the Gulf War. And all the proceeds of the Gulf War was looted. And Nigeria did not benefit anything from it. Don't forget, I'm bringing us back to this memory lane.
Exactly.
On the issue of subsidy, so that people at home can understand. So there was, and then when Babangida mismanaged that $12 billion, that's proceeds of the Gulf War, they now have to introduce structural adjustment program. So that the economy has collapsed, and they want to deceive Nigerians that all things are well. When structural adjustment program was introduced, it brought hardship to Nigerians. I hope people can still remember. Now at a particular time, they now said, what should be done is that all the moribund, according to them, that they have to be deregulated, the companies, the factories belonging to federal government, that they have to be deregulated. Yes, they started deregulation. That is part of the structural adjustment program. And this thing brought a lot of unemployment, throwing people out of job. So many companies could no longer continue. They have to collapse their company, and some move to Ghana, some move away to their countries. Yeah. These foreign investors. So, and then they could not, for lack of sustainability, they cannot sustain it. They cannot sustain the program. And in 1988, there was this massive anti-SAP protest across the nation to tell the government that that policy is purely anti-people. So they could not sustain the subsidy. That was, even the subsidy that time, there was nothing like subsidy.
Okay.
As at that time, they continued to claim there was subsidy. But if there is subsidy, they are the ones that they know that there is subsidy. Because they share the subsidy among themselves. It's not having any impactful effect on Nigerians. You know, so on like that, until we were into the Abacha regime. Abacha didn't bother about the fuel price. He didn't bother about it because things was going on, and his main intention is to turn himself to a civilian head of state. Until we were in 1999. In 1999, as soon as Obasanjo resumed as civilian head of state, he removed the subsidy. He made attempt. He removed someone and jack up the price of oil. That was strike, national strike for about 4 days or 5 days. That time, where by the labor, as headed by Oshiomode. Yeah. Now, who was now a former governor of Edo State. Then, when they negotiated, then another thing is that another year, Obasanjo also jack up the price. There was another 3 days national strike. Then, you see, we are being deceived by the government and then the then labor bureaucrats. They didn't allow Nigerians to really know what is happening. Now, until we have the Jonathan came. Okay. Jonathan made attempt to remove the subsidy because he understand, about 143 companies were the one claiming subsidy. Okonjo-Iweala was the Minister for Finance. They screened all those companies and they discovered that about 2.5 billion naira claim were fraudulent. Wow. Now it has a faceless, it was going to be, the claims were made by faceless companies who want to, and it has been done like that. It has been done like that.
I'm sure they knew who those companies belong to.
Then, you know, when I say faceless companies, who are they claim? And then Okonjo-Iweala said, no, we are not going to pay this money. That they must see those who, there is no evidence of the fact that they imported anything into the country. That they were not going to pay that money. 5 days later, her mother was abducted by kidnappers. Wow. You know, and then she was with them for 5 days, being fed with only water and bread. Professor Mrs. Okonjo, you know, and that's from a retired professor and the traditional in in that village, in the Delta State. So, and then the mother was there, very agonizing. And then what they told the mother is that, come, tell your daughter to apologize publicly and pay that money to the people, to those faceless elements. This is where in Nigeria. No, but we cannot begin to deceive, even if they are deceiving us. We know they are deceiving us, but we cannot be deceiving ourselves. We now said, okay, that one now said, Jonathan now said, don't worry, don't resign, as they claim that you should resign. You see, they are asking the minister to resign for non-payment of that fraudulent money,
to faceless
subsidy. And then, that is the beginning of the problem. Buhari, the present president, all of them came out under Occupy Nigeria in 2012 to challenge the removal of that subsidy that is anti-people. Now, today, they said, you see the way Amana even said it, shows that they don't care about what happens to anybody. Subsidy is gone. It's a policy matter. It shouldn't have been handled in that way, in that manner in which he said it on his inauguration day. It's a policy matter that is going to affect everybody in this country. We are not saying since the subsidy thing is faceless, is fictitious. We don't know the companies that are really collecting them. The federal government has never, they only told us the figure they have paid on subsidy. They didn't tell us who and what, who and who collected the money. We have not known. I don't know. We have not up till now. The federal government is here to brief Nigerians on those companies that collected 7 trillion. We want to know, because under the arrangement of direct sales and direct purchase, there is no subsidy there. Let me repeat it. Under the policy of direct sales and direct purchase of NNPC, there is no record that the federal government is paying subsidy to some companies. The consortium that are now doing the exploration, they are the one that come back that says the crude. We sell the crude to them, they take it down and bring it back. That is direct sales and direct purchase. There is no record of any company that is collecting any subsidy. The government, you see, we cannot be fooled. All of us cannot be fooled
at the same time.
At the same time, they must tell us who are we. We want to demand from them. We are making a request that they should explain to Nigerians. Oh, we have paid so to ExxonMobil. We have paid this so to Shell. We have paid this one to BP. That's British Petroleum. We have paid so amount. That's the subsidy we are talking about. Nobody has ever received such an information from now. You cannot jack up price of fuel saying you are removing subsidy. Fine. If the thing is fictitious and it has a background of corruption, you know, it has become a cesspool of corruption where some people are collecting rent on monthly basis or annually, you know, from at the expense of, you know, Nigerians, poor Nigerians, in a country where about 33 million people are multidimensionally poor, and about 60% of the youth are unemployed. How can you now be talking of subsidy? Subsidy is just to let people know this money that is going to social place, but they cannot tell us who and who is collecting the money. But for political reasons, for patronage reasons and all that, they have not told us. And then they now say, oh, Dangote is the one that they want to hide under that Dangote to begin to collect the money so that there won't be subsidy again. They won't be using the word subsidy because the whole world is knowing that the exposure is coming from subsidy thing, and the thing may lead to crisis. So they want to put the thing now, jack up the price so that money will be collected from Dangote. You know, that is the subsidy will not be named subsidy again. It will be now be given another name through Dangote. That is just the simple truth. That is just, see what I saw some people posting some defense on behalf of federal government, and I pity them. It is not only transportation that is going to affect. So many other companies will fold up, and we are just, this is a developing country. It is anti-developmental, you know, agenda for you to have done that. You know, see, they are pursuing anti-developmental issues. They were trying to take care of their CIA, you know, capitalist agents who put them into power. That is not the issue.
But how do you think government can actually put an end to this fraud, as you call it? How? If government is not, if you said removal of subsidy is not the way, what should government do?
There is no subsidy that they are removing under direct sales and direct purchase.
Okay.
They were deceiving Nigeria that there is subsidy.
Okay.
There is nothing like, if the NNPC is doing, oh, I am going to sell for you my crude, you are going to bring the refined product to me under the same arrangement. It is the same arrangement. If my crude is $30,000 per barrel, it has already been included that I'm selling this crude to you. Part of the money I'm sending to you is to bring me the refined fuel from the same $30,000. I hope You are getting me clear? And people at home should listen very carefully and know that this is the issue that is happening. That even if they are deceiving, people should go and research very well on it. They have experts in petroleum industry. They are not talking. We have professionals in the petroleum industry. They are not talking. We have intellectuals in the universities. Nobody is talking. Even our media are not researching enough to get the facts. Under the direct sales and direct purchase, there is nothing like subsidy there. It is NNPC that is the monopoly. Who are they now paying to? You are the one that is selling. You are the one that is purchasing. Tell me, who are they? Unless if they say that policy is a policy paper, it's a policy document.
Okay. Former President Muhammadu Buhari, was the Minister of Petroleum for the 8 years he spent in office.
He has always been Minister for Petroleum anytime he's in government.
Okay. And he actually promised to fight corruption. Now, does it mean that he never discovered this? Or he was also the same?
See, the issues we are having now with this subsidy thing is that the president was also the Minister for Petroleum. In 1978, when he was the Federal Commissioner for Petroleum, in the Ministry of Petroleum, he was the Federal
Petroleum Trust Fund?
No.
Okay, not the Trust Fund.
In 1978, when they called them, instead of minister,
okay,
they called them High Commissioner.
All right.
Federal High Commissioner for Petroleum. He was the minister then, let me put it that way,
okay,
in the language that everybody will understand. And that was when 2.8 billion was missing, oil money. That fella sang about it, released an album, 2.8 million naira Nigerian money is missing. Then Obasanjo was the head of state, military head of state. You see, when he now became, I don't know that for his interest, that for 8 years, he never appointed a minister on his own. He was the one that managed the petroleum industry. He was the one that managed the petroleum ministry. He should know better. If they are actually paying subsidy, the kind of Buhari I know cannot pay such money. But he could not tamper with it because the money is going to some powerfuls. That they may even remove him in government, and he has been removed once. He want to finish the 8 years. He came to power to rectify his the last mistake in this one, so that he become a full-fledged head of state, not the one that is removed from power. So he could not talk about it. He was handcuffed. You understand? But this man, the person that is there now, shouldn't have even announced it that way.
Okay.
You should know that there are a lot of stakeholders are involved when it comes to downstream petroleum issues. This downstream sector issues must involve a lot of stakeholders, starting from the OPEC. Other countries that have similar problem, like Venezuela with us in Nigeria, you have to compare your price, you have to compare your social economic situations and all that. You have to also compare your internally generated revenue, whether it can take care of the palliative. Yeah, they didn't talk about palliative. We are here to get there. But then, how do you now remove something, you take something away from me? The GDP is 22%, fine. They said it's okay. But you cannot use your GDP to pay your debt. They are borrowing money to pay debt. You cannot do that. That shows that the economy is in comatose. Fine. If the economy is in comatose, it is not the pump oil price that you are going to increase in that manner. It is, definitely, it is going to ignite reactions from the people. Whether people are organized or not, it is going to ignite reactions. It's not from workers alone. Petty traders, factory owners, everybody will feel it. And then it means that, it is going to make sure the policy of this subsidy removal as in quotes, we surely make sure that some companies will collapse.
Comrade, I think...
And it's going to take people away from job.
Comrade, because you have put it in quotes, subsidy removal, that means you don't believe that subsidy is existing.
It doesn't.
Thank you. If that, during the campaign of Tinubu and other contestants, they made it point blank that they were going to remove the subsidy, and it's virtually nobody complained or nobody emphasize what you are emphasizing this morning, that there is nothing called, okay, I can remember Professor Wole Soyinka said that there was nothing called subsidy. But beside him, hardly can we see somebody else saying that, because we believe that it was part of their campaign. Now Tinubu now executing it. Can we say that the labor union and the masses are shedding crocodile tears in as much as we know that they are promised that they were going to do it and they are not doing it?
Yeah, you see, the kind of political space that we operate and the system, that's our own type of democracy. It's not a popular democracy. It's not a popular democracy where people can talk. We have, you know, it's a diarchy. You know, diarchy means military and civilian coming together to rule. We have not been governed since 1999. We have always been ruled. There's a difference between being ruled and being governed. We have not had the opportunity of being governed in Nigeria since 1999. So they feel they can just take anything, they can say anything, they can do anything. They don't, because Nigerians are not really interested in them. Whatever things they say, they know they are lying.
But to come out, because you were an activist even during the military era, and you voiced even before government. But nowadays, we can see that they are ruling us, as you have said, tactically. But why can't you come out boldly to tell people that there's nothing?
People have been saying this for a very long time. They themselves, that they said they are removing subsidy. They said it in 2012 that there was nothing like subsidy, and that Jonathan was just trying to, you know, foster poverty on Nigerians. See, why those people that agitated in 2012, that led the protest in 2012 against subsidy removal, are the one now saying they are removing subsidy? Don't you see there's a contradiction there? There's a contradiction, which means they are hypocrites and they are deceitful. They are deceiving Nigerians. They are not being honest with Nigerians. When you want to do that, you know definitely the rules are there. That to deregulate the downstream sector, you have to involve a lot of people. We have the experts in the ministry. We have you called them? We have the labor worker, the leadership of the laborers. Have you called them? We have even the students. Have you called them? The people the professionals, that is the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria. Have you called them to a roundtable meeting and look at it dispassionately? How do we go ahead with this? They have not, because it is a diarchy system. It is military and civilian that we have been experiencing since 1999. You know, in 1999 from 1999 to today, we have two past military head of state. So see, Buhari was able to manage the country for 8 years because he was a military man. But Obasanjo did the same. They were doing it, you know, they were using their military tactics underneath, and at the surface they call themselves Democrats, which they are not, you know. And people should know this, that they have established that, you know, that anybody that is there will also follow suit. And that is why on the day of the inauguration of the new president, he said, oh, subsidy has gone. And then in his campaign, he said anybody can protest to the high heaven, he's not going to remove subsidy. He has already been telling us that this is a dictatorial tendency or a military democracy that they are running, or the first time Nigeria, they want to continue it. You know,
and we deliberately voted for them.
And we deliberately voted for them.
I mean, we like cheating.
If you look at the statement of the SDP presidential candidate, he said, oh, people voted for punishment and they should be punished. The other statement is not good.
And that is campaign.
It's not campaign. That is his comment on this matter, on this subsidy thing. He said, oh, people voted for punishment and they should be punished as well. You see, let me tell you, if I were to be Tinubu, he should have known that they have set a bubble traps for him. It's like digging a hole around a person. And if you move like this, you will fall there. If you move like this, you will fall there. He should have seen all these things during his campaign. With all the things that happened before his campaign, the Naira redesign, all those shenanigans, he should have seen that, oh, well, if I get this thing, what is going to happen to me? You know, I said, okay, yeah, maybe he said that he's the one that is the next. Let him go there and do it now. Because it is faceless people that are talking about that are the subsidy scam. Let me say scam.
According to you.
No, they said according to them. If the present president now called it a scam.
Yes, in 2012.
I will send an article that he released in 2012. I can send it to you. We can put it on the social media for people to see. It's there on the social media. It's on the public domain. The statement he released on the issue of first subsidy in 2012. They call it a scam. Buhari also call it a scam, and they operated scam for 8 years. You know, I think what is happening now is interesting because the war against Nigeria, those who are warring against Nigeria, either knowingly or unknowingly, will be exposed.
Okay.
That is what is going to happen. Mark it. Those who are warring against Nigeria, those who put Nigeria in this kind of situation, will soon be exposed. I think that is what is going to happen.
Thank you very much. Now, the NLC president, Comrade Ajero, has said there is Labour is not accepting anything about subsidy. That government has not been transparent enough to actually let them into the know of how it's going, what is happening in the petroleum sector, and that NLPCL is now a private liability company. It has no right to actually fix the price of the PMS. It has displayed strike. How do you think this will turn out?
The economy is bad. Nigerians are poor. At least more than 60% of Nigerians, or 80% of Nigerians, 70% of Nigerians are multidimensionally poor. You know, as confirmed by the Bureau of Public Statistics. Now, if that is the case, we are having the very high debt profile, you know, which of course is going to be another one. The internally generated revenue cannot pay our debt. It's too small. We are not generating any revenue. Then people are, you know, coming with a lot of the Nigerian system, this presidential system, is too expensive to run for a country like, for a developing country like Nigeria. So it involves a lot of capital. Now, coming to your question, what would they have done? You know, the labor is very, very powerless. Now, the labor is, they were ambushed because they have fixed the price. They are the one that announced the regulation. They are the one that also fixed the price. You know, you cannot be a judge in your own court, in your own cause. So you cannot be a judge in your own court. So the federal government cannot assume the market forces. They are the position of market forces. They should, in downstream sector, you allow, it's a market. You allow competitors, and you allow the competition to determine the price. Right? The theory of demand and supply. Okay. So that one will also, if you bring your own, I bring my own, then we now see how much it can be sold. If you repair our refineries, or you say, oh, this 4 refineries that is not working for many years, and which you have spent about 7 trillion to refurbish, and there is nothing to show for it. Why did you spend 7 trillion to refurbish refineries that are not working? The 4 refineries, none is working. And as such, you see, you have to look at the time. You have to look at the time they spend the money and what is happening now. Now they want to remove them. They will buy those refineries by themselves. They want to sell. Part of the deregulation is not only to remove to jack up the price and remove their so-called subsidy, is to also put the refineries for sale.
You are privatizing.
That is part of the deregulation. You understand? See, when they deregulated, when Obasanjo started the BPE, the regulation, who handled the regulation, chaired by Abaka Atiku, they sold Osogbo Steel Rolling, and they were using it as a cement warehouse now. They sold those things to their friends, you know, and our telecommunication industry was also sold to foreign investors. Thank God.
ẹ jẹ́ ká wá sọ ní èdè Yorùbá nítorí pé àwọn èèyàn ti ń retí pé kí ni ẹ ń sọ ní fún ìrètí yìí. Àwọn èèyàn mọ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ajàfẹ́tọ̀ọ́ ọmọnìyàn, ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tí àwọn tí Tinubu tó dé ààrẹ wa yìí àtàwọn ẹgbẹ́ rẹ̀ tán jọ wé àpótí ìgbà yẹn, wọ́n sọ nínú ìpolongo bó wọn pé àwọn ó yọ owó ìrànlọ́wọ́ níbi ewé epo àwọn wò wọ́n gbà tán campaign yẹn ó sì jẹ́ pé ẹ ti sọ nínú àwọn ìtàntẹ́ ti mú wa lọ́nsìn pé kíní yẹn gangan kò kúkú ṣẹlẹ̀ gan náà tẹ́lẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n kí wọ́n lẹ́yìn ajàfẹ́tọ̀ọ́ ọmọ ènìyàn kí lẹ̀ ń wò tẹ́ a gbọ́ pé Professor Wọlé Ṣóyínká òun sọ pé kò sí ti ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀yin ọmọ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń jàfẹ́tọ̀ọ́ ọmọ ènìyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ sọ kíní yìí dáadáa.
n tó fà á ni pé a lè má sọ dáadáa ṣe mọ̀ yín pé láti ìgbà tí àwọn tí wọ́n wà bẹ́ẹ̀ nìsín n tá à ń sọ pé ajàfẹ́tọ̀ọ́ ọmọnìyàn wọ́n ti fi pọ́fàtì n tá à ń pè ní ìṣẹ́ àti òṣì wọ́n ti fi báyé gbogbo nǹkan jẹ́ àwọn náà ni wọ́n ní gbogbo àwọn ẹgbẹ́ tẹ̀ ń wò ìdajì ẹgbẹ́ tá à ń pè ní ajàfẹ́tọ̀ọ́ ọmọnìyàn àwọn tó wà ń bẹ̀ yìí náà ni wọ́n àwọn náà ló ń fún wọn lówó so ẹ lè wá máa rò pé kẹ́ máa fi àfojúsùn pé wọn ó jà fẹ́tọ̀ọ́ ọmọnìyàn nígbà kan mélòó ni ẹgbẹ́ ajàfẹ́tọ̀ọ́ ọmọnìyàn tó wà àwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́ àmọ́ yẹn
àwọn oníròyìn
àmọ́ yẹn àwọn student ọmọléèwé nígbà yẹn nance àmọ́ yẹn àwọn lawyers náà MBA àmọ́ yẹn nígbà àwọn àkábàsọ̀rún wà ń bẹ̀ so wọ́n bá ti sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí tí labour bá ti sọ̀rọ̀ student ó tẹ̀lé nígbà náà Nàìjíríà sì wọ́n rí àwọn tó ń gbìjà wọn nísìnyí gbogbo ẹ ti dojúrú ọlọ́màjẹkọ́rọ̀ wa dojúrú wọ́n tó ti dàpọ̀ gbogbo ẹ tí ó ti lọ́pọ̀ so torí kí ló dẹ̀ fà owó tó pọ̀ jù àti pápá ètò òṣèlú tá a ṣe oríṣiríṣi òfin burúkú tí wọ́n ń ṣe láti rí i pé wọ́n dojú gbogbo àwọn ajàfẹ́tọ̀ọ́ ọmọnìyàn wọ́n dojú wọn bolẹ̀ wọ́n gba owó wọn nǹkan tí Buhari ṣe fọ́dún mẹ́jọ nìyẹn ẹ rí i pé àwọn bíìlì kan wà tán pass bí irú freedom of information whistleblower all those things wọ́n ń ṣe àwọn kan tó jẹ́ pé àwọn kan wà under need wọ́n pé wọ́n ti fi kó àwọn èèyàn lẹ́sẹ̀ pàápàá jùlọ àwọn oníròyìn tó bá sọ̀rọ̀ ńgbà yẹn wọ́n á ní ó fẹ́ gbàjọba ni lójó kó máa sọ àbí nígbà Buhari ẹ tó bá sọ̀rọ̀ ju bó ṣe lọ wọn ló fẹ́ gbàjọba that's military tactics military regime òun wá sọ pé àpapọ̀ ìgbìmọ̀ ológun àti alágbádá òun là ń rí lọ́wọ́ yìí láti 1995.
ẹ sọ lórí èkó pé subsidy yìí pé kò ṣẹlẹ̀.
kò sí tó ń jẹ́ subsidy sẹ́rí tó fẹ́ subsidy tá à ń sọ yìí ṣe pé a ti sọ mo sọ nínú ilé ìbò mo ní 1973 ló bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìjọba Gowon nígbà tó wọ epo tó dojú délẹ̀ ẹ pé Nàìjíríà sì ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ kúrò nínú ogun ní 1970 òun ló wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ pé nígbà tí àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ò ní lè wá bíṣẹ́ o àwọn èèyàn ò ní wọ́n ṣẹ̀ kúrò nínú ogun ni o àwa tá a ṣẹ̀ kúrò nínú COVID-19 ṣe wọn ìkòyẹ kárò tiwa mọ́ gba ogun yẹn ló jẹ́ kí Gowon Yakubu Gowon ṣe subsidy ngbò dẹ̀ ṣe ngbò tó di 1973 ngbò tó yá ó tó ṣe kíní kan tó ń pè ní ìdójì owó ń dógi nígbà yẹn owó ọ̀fẹ́ owó ń dógi wọ́n fọ́n òṣìṣẹ́ so òṣìṣẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí rago nǹkan ṣùgbọ́n ó wá dá inflation lẹ̀ nígbà tí Ọbásanjọ́ tó débẹ̀ ó yọ gbogbo àwọn kan yẹn àtọwọ́ oúnjẹ tí wọ́n fún àwọn ọmọ iléèwé gíga yẹn wọ́n yọ so olódà limos gbolẹ̀ tí ìjà fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ the UNILAG to spread across Nigeria data okay nǹkan tó ń farè àwọn nígbà tó wá yá táwọn alágbádá débẹ̀ àwọn kan náwó bó ṣe wọ́n ní wọ́n tẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ bóyá owó epo bóyá wọ́n ṣe ń rówó bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n ṣe ń ná nígbà tó jẹ́ kúkú jẹ́ pé àwọn ò ní ní ètò kan pàtó fọmọ Nàìjíríà ju ètò tí wọ́n ní ojú ti àpò wọn fáwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wọn fáwọn ìyàwó wọn fáwọn ọmọ wọn kò sí pé ètò kan fún ordinary Nigerians tó ń dìbò fún wọn títí òun la bá débẹ̀ tá a fi dé ibi ológun tó padà Buhari ìdí àbọ̀ àwọn náà túnṣe tí wọ́n lọ ṣùgbọ́n Babangida ló tẹ̀ wá dojú ẹ̀ dé owó tó ń tún rí tó tún yẹ kán tún fi ṣe ètò ohun rere fún àwọn owó tán rí níbi gọ́fọ̀ ogun Iraq àti Amẹ́ríkà tí wọ́n àti Kuwait táwọn Amẹ́ríkà sáà epo wọ́n gbà yẹn Nàìjíríà wá rí epo tà wọ́n sì rí owó gidi owó tán rí gbà náà $12 billion owó yẹn pọ̀ lásìkò yẹn ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n pín láàrin ara wọn kì í ṣe pé wọ́n náà fún ọmọ Nàìjíríà lórí ibi tí wàhálà ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní Babangida wa tún sọ pé ètò SAP ló gbé SAP wá ìyẹn wàá fi ojú àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà hàn mọ́ bó tó di pé sawdust làwọn yẹn fi ń dáná àwọn èèyàn lè dá kerosene rà mọ́. ẹ bá wo láti gbà yẹn òun ni problem kerosene ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Kerosene now is 800 naira per litre. Diesel is 800 naira per litre. So ní ìsìn wọn tó dójúlé petrol ṣùgbọ́n petrol yìí o petrol economy là ń dá petrol dollar economy òun là ń ràn Nàìjíríà kò sí nǹkan mìíràn ohun àmúṣagbára kan tó tún kù tó jẹ́ nǹkan ọrọ̀ ajé wa tó kù òun ni petrol epo rọ̀bì yìí òun ni gbogbo agbẹ́kẹ̀lé o ẹ tún wá ní àwọn tí wọn ò rọ́wọ́ rí yìí gan wọ́n tún mọ̀ ra ní 500 naira ẹ̀yin wá lọ ẹ̀ tí ẹ̀ sọ pé ẹ̀ bí ṣùgbẹ́wà láti lè sọ pé àwọn èèyàn pé àyìn ẹ̀ wá ó láti fẹ́ ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ yìí o ìwọ ẹ̀yin òṣìṣẹ́ ẹ̀yin onímọ̀ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ jẹ́ professional náà nínú gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ̀ tá à ń ṣe ẹ̀yin tẹ́ jẹ́ manufacturer tẹ́ máa ń ṣe gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tẹ́ nílé iṣẹ́ ńláńlá bó láti fẹ́ jókòó ṣe kìíní tí ò fi ní jẹ́ wàhálà fún àwọn èèyàn káwọn àtijẹ àtimu tí òfin ní le wọn ò pé àwọn èèyàn àwọn náà ni wọ́n dá sọ àwọn náà ni wọ́n dá pẹ́ torí pé kí ni owó yìí gangan ti tẹ́lẹ̀ rí kì í ṣe pé àwọn èèyàn náà ló wà fún kó kàn wọ́n. Nàìjíríà lèmi ti rí wípé ìjọba tiwantiwa tá ń pè ní democracy wọn kì í pe àwọn èèyàn sí lọ́tọ̀ tí tọ́ba tó fẹ́ dìbò tọ́ba fẹ́ tó dìbò náà máa tó pè wọ́n ọdún mẹ́rin ṣùgbọ́n pé nínú decision making pé nǹkan báyìí lájọ fẹ́ ṣe o wọn ní pé àwọn èèyàn sí so ẹ rí pé kò ń ṣe democracy torí pé democracy tiwa democracy afarajọ ológun ni.
ẹ ṣe gan ni àríkọ́ àwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́ ti pè fún ìyanṣẹ́lódì látọ̀sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀ tí irú eléyìí bá ń wáyé ààrẹ dẹ̀ ti sọ pé ìgbésẹ̀ táwọn ti gbé bó ṣe máa wà nìyẹn kí lọ́nà àbáyọ báyìí.
ṣe rí àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ojúṣe wọn nìyẹn tí gbogbo àmọ̀ bọ̀ wọ́n àti ẹ̀ ní ìdí ẹ̀ gan-an nígbà táwọn Yorùbá rówó kọ lọ kàn lọ bí iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n bá rówó lọ wọ mọ́tò tó sì lè rìn tí ilé ẹ bá ṣe kó máa jókòó sílé ẹ náà ni ibi gbà yín náà ló yẹ káwọn sọ pé ẹni tí ò bá ṣe rówó wọ mọ́tò kò dúró lé ẹ àbí nítorí ẹgbẹ́ ṣe nìyẹn ṣẹlẹ̀ lè tẹ̀ máa tún wá jẹ́ ó tún fún wọn láyọ̀yọ̀ ó tún fún ìjọba láyọ̀yọ̀ wọ́n tún kàjọba sí ni o strike tán declare yẹn wọ́n fi pín ìjọba lé ní. nígbà ní endsars ṣé ẹnìkan ló declare endsars ṣé rí nǹkan tó fi ẹ̀pù tó fi ran ìjọba lọ́wọ́ ó ní pé kò ní sí spontaneous reaction ìyá dẹ̀ burú tó wá pé àwọn èèyàn lọ́dẹ́dẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ jà tí ì ṣe pé wọ́n wà coordinated and control wàhálà ńlá ni o ó máa burú ju Boko Haram lọ a sì ti rí gbogbo kí ni ọ̀nà kì í sọ̀rọ̀ à ń sọ̀rọ̀ jọ níta sọ mí náà ṣèbí ọ̀rọ̀ ni wọ́n à ń gbọ́ torí pé kí wọ́n lè gbọ́ torí pé kí ni wọ́n ti calculate iye tí wọ́n máa rí àwọn tẹ́rí tí wọ́n ń ṣùgbà tán rọ̀gbà yá ká ẹni tí ó wáṣẹ́ ẹni tó wá contract tí ó bá sọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo rí gbogbo káwọn èèyàn ń sọ lórí social media kìíní yóò mọ ẹ máa rìn lọ bí iṣẹ́ ìgbésí ayé ń bọ̀ ṣé tẹ bá rí sáàpù yẹn dìgbò tán ṣe defend ẹgbẹ́ ẹ ìyá jẹ́ àwọn ọlọ́mọ àtijọ́ tún rí rẹ̀ mọ́ sáàpù náà ti kúrò lẹ̀ another sáàpù tún lélẹ̀ àṣetọ austerity measure Ọbásanjọ́ àṣe sáàpù ti Babangida àtúnṣe ti subsidy ti Buhari nìkan ni mo rí ní head of state pé ó ṣe ó sì mú jẹ ó ṣàṣegbé fún Nigerians ẹni tó bá ṣe gan ó gbìyànjú òun nìkan ní head of state àwọn èèyàn ṣe protest unless the only thing to process ó ní endsars ẹni kọ́ ọdún mẹ́jọ yẹn free ni ṣé ẹ tẹ̀ rí bá sọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tí ò tẹ̀ rẹ́dì láti máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ kankan àbí ó ń lọ abroad ó ń lọ ọdún èbó agbe etí tó dùn lọ téyín bá nù agbe lọbẹ̀ àbí òun gan lo 104 days ní abroad kò sẹ́ni jẹ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ pé èló ló ná irú àìsàn wo ló lọ wò kò sàn ṣàlàyé fẹ́ni kankan ni n ò ka àwọn èèyàn sí ìbò lásán náà nídìí lọ́dọ̀ àwọn èèyàn tó bá ti dìbò fún wọn máa parí ìyókù yẹn wàhálà àti yín ni ní tí wọ́n ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nìyẹn pé bámúbámú làwa yóò àwọn ò mọ̀ bó yẹ nígbà ṣùgbọ́n NSC ti wá ṣe ń tó wọ́n ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ wọn ó dẹ̀ kíjọba àpapọ̀ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn fún tán ṣe pé wọ́n tiẹ̀ sọ pé àwọn fẹ́ ṣe strike so as to put them on their track láti lè jẹ́ kí wọ́n lè dúró lórí ẹsẹ̀ wọn kán tètè máa tán ṣe ó ní NSC tán ṣe yẹn wọ́n ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ ni o torí tí ó bá jẹ́ pé àwọn èèyàn bá rí o nígbà tó bá fi máa tó pé ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì sísìn àwọn èèyàn lówó mọ́tò lọ bíṣẹ́ kò ní sóúnjẹ mọ́ kò ní sẹ́ni tì mọ́ at the end of the day àwọn èèyàn tún jáde wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí jà ṣùgbọ́n NSC ti ràn ìjọba lọ́wọ́ ní ìsìnkú òkè àti ẹ̀ declare strike táwọn èèyàn tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ti yàtọ̀ sí NSC sọ fún wọn àwọn àjọ òṣìṣẹ́ wọn ò sọ pé kán dá subsidy padà o subsidy tẹ́ bá dá padà inú wọn á tó dùn pé àpò àwọn náà tó dá padà sí o o lè tó tán sọ ni pé yes ẹ tẹ gbàgbé subsidy ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ jókòó sọ̀rọ̀ owó tẹ́ fúnra yín fi owó lé epo tẹ́ fúnra yín lẹ́bi lé ẹ̀yin nìkan kọ́ ni Nàìjíríà wà fún náà NNPC ò ní agbára láti ṣe wọ́n ti sọ NNPC di aládàáni bíi Dangote sẹ́ni pé subsidy yìí sìn Dangote náà tún ní yóò máa produce àbí wọn ò tiẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa refinery tiwa ẹ wá ń sọ pé wọ́n ń gbé epo wá lọ Cameroon wọ́n ti ń sọ yẹn ti pẹ́ wọ́n ń gbé epo wá lọ Togo wọ́n ń gbé lọ sí Benin kí ló kàn wá pẹ̀lú yẹn a ní refinery mẹ́rin ẹ̀ná 7 trillion láti tún ṣe kò yọrí sí rere kò nítumọ̀ kò wúlò fáwọn èèyàn ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ẹ̀ ń sọ̀rọ̀ wípé ń gbé epo lọ sí Cameroon kí ló kàn wá pẹ̀lú yẹn.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. I believe that even if we will have 2 hours again, you will still continue to be following. This is the convenient point to stop the first segment of our interview segment today. We are going to be back in the studio after a short period.